Good day, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live classical music channel. We're connecting musicians and audiences in real-time performances and music news now from around the globe. Today we present the semifinals of Sound Espressivo music competition. Born during pandemic as a way forward for performing artists to keep live music alive, Sound Espressivo competition is created by a large international community of musicians. In the next 4 days, we will broadcast performances of nearly 100 musicians, contestants from around the entire world. Please watch in the comments their countries. Judges will be providing immediate feedback to each musician on air. Please stay tuned. Join our live broadcasts, comment, share events on social networks. Please give these courageous musicians, contestants of the Sound Espressivo competition, your encouragement and your cheers. And I'm happy to introduce Robert Voisey, the president of the Sound Espressivo board and Sound Espressivo 2021 judge. Robert, welcome on stage. And Robert is a composer, and he's also an arranger and a producer. He is based in New York, and he has produced a lot of shows, a lot of programs involving performers and musicians and composers from around the entire world. And while we have Robert joining us, I will introduce the mission of the Sound Espressivo competition. Sound Espressivo competition is created to empower musicians with new tools and enrich with new thinking, expand horizons of what's possible, what can work, what can be a source of joy and success for a modern performing artist. And now, passing on the stage to the president of Sound Espressivo board, Robert Voisey is here. Welcome, Robert. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to the show.
Hi, thank you, Anna. It was a pleasure to be here, and I'm so excited about this, first session.
Yeah, this is our opening night of the semifinals.
Our mission is to empower musicians with tools, enrich with new thinking, expand horizons of what's possible, what can work, and what can be a source of joy and success for a modern performing artist. We support raising modern musicians, instilling what it takes to be devoted, diverse, engaged, and successful. Sound Espressivo online competition is where musicians present their talent, practice, and individuality. It's an opportunity to engage with audiences and the world in present-day technical environment, to be reviewed and guided by respected judges from around the world. Sound Espressivo is bringing the future of the music industry to the artists, educators, and audiences of today. Founded and managed by professional musicians, Sound Espressivo competition aims to empower artists of every instrument and all walks of life. Sound Espressivo gives an opportunity for the contestants to present themselves to a supportive panel of established veterans in the field.
Wonderful. Thank you, Robert, for introducing Sound Espressivo competition. And now I'm happy to introduce today's judges. And welcome on stage, Angela Chan, joining us from, where are you joining us from?
From Montreal, Canada.
From Canada. And Angela has been with us for the interviews and panel discussions, and it's a great pleasure to have you on stage.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we have lots of contestants tonight, and it's going to be really exciting. Welcome, Giacomo Franci. He's joining us from, where are you now, Giacomo?
New York City.
Now in New York City. And Giacomo is a conductor and a pianist, and welcome. Thank you for joining the panel.
Thank you.
Mike Vaccaro, welcome on stage. great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for joining the judging panel. And Mike Vaccaro, as you can see, all the bios are in the banners. Everyone can see them, so I'm going to skip lengthy introductions. And you're joining us from where?
Long Beach, California.
We have judges from every place possible. And welcome on stage, James Welch. James, you're joining us from where?
Buffalo, New York.
Thank you for joining the panel.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want to give the applause to our fabulous panel of judges. They're here to work through the night, long hours, and we'll hear a lot of very valuable and interesting comments. After each contestant, the judges will come on stage and will comment in real time. The results will come at the end. We probably will announce them later in the next session and on the website. All right, and now without any further ado, we'll start introducing the contestants. And I believe our first contestant is ready to perform. And welcome on stage a cellist, Kijun Lee. He is in the age group 10 and under. And his artistic nomination is Virtuosity. Proud to the courageous first person.
First of all, can you hear me? Is it good?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Well, Justin, thank you very much for playing. Congratulations to a successful performance. First of all, at such a young age, I'm very impressed in the fact that you are exuding a strong level of confidence and you have a good command of your performance with great conviction. So I enjoyed your performance very much. So it's great work. And you also show good sensitivity to the dynamics, the loud and soft. So one more thing, you played a good ensemble with your collaborative pianist, which is very good work. Now, the next thing I would like to suggest is while you're working on the intonation, you can be even more precise on it. And also in terms of the internal rhythm between the notes, if you can manage a little bit more crispy and more clarity, your performance could be impeccable. So finally, I think if you work on that and continue to bring forth that element of surprise, which you already did very well, implementing that in your performance, it would be wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Justin. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's your age?
10.
You are 10. Very old. I'm just kidding. So this is so you are very very young. Your performance was very precise. I think it was very clear. A few intonation here and there, but you have all your life ahead of you. So what I'm suggesting is your performance was very good. I think, I mean, this is from my point of view. You are very cautious of what the written music is. Maybe a good suggestion is that your teacher would suggest you some improvisation, something that would feel more free in your playing. This on one side. On the other side, of course, the technical thing that you want to pursue. But on the side, having more freedom that you would then bring also into the written music of classical music. That's my advice. But congratulations, very, very good.
Thank you.
Hi. I have to tell you that there's something in your playing that's very advanced. And I noticed it especially in the first half, in the slower part, is you're not playing the music on the paper. You've taken it off the paper and you've made it music. And that's one of the last things that most musicians learn, and you've learned it earlier. I hear a little less of it in the fast section because it's more difficult, and you're a young guy, and I mean that's a handful of stuff you had there. And Dr. Chan made a great suggestion about the sound in between the notes. I think that's important, and I think both your time and your pitch could have been better in the second half. The first half was world-class playing. I'm very, very impressed, and thanks for playing for us today. I'm humbled.
Thank you.
Hi, Justin. I loved your performance. I thought your presentation was fantastic. I liked it a great deal, and I agree with all my colleagues. Everything that they said. More. Keep going. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you.
Hi, Justin. Bravo. Piece like this, I've accompanied, this piece many times, and it is difficult to start so confidently right from the beginning of it, and I feel like you did that very well. It's usually takes people a long time to warm into it, but not you. So congrats on that. I agree with the rest of my colleagues on all the other things. Just be a little more attentive to the intonation in the second part. But great contrast of sections, and you play with so much confidence and energy, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges, very much. And Justin, thank you for being so courageous. You're the first and the opening night of this competition semifinals, and I congratulate you for stepping on stage and setting the tone for everybody else. And I'm humbled by your courage and your preparation. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And with that, we will be moving on to our next performer. And we have a pianist from Canada, again in the 10 and under age group, Ruoyi Qiao. Pianist, welcome on stage. It's all yours.
bravissima. Ruoyi, I hope I pronounce well your name. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Your play was very very good, very very good. The I prefer the first piece. The second piece it's almost impossible to play perfectly. It's very difficult. If you think in the expressive part, if you keep your left hand a little lighter, you have more way of expressing the colors of the melody. This is a little criticism I do. You have all your life in front of you, and you will play like Vladimir Horowitz. But so that is one. And then obviously in the in the fast passages to find a little more clarity. But you did great. So this just two little criticism. Because we always want to grow, and you have all your life in front of you to grow, and you play great.
Thanks.
Hi, Roy. I was very impressed with your playing. What I really liked is the freedom that you seem to have in your fingers and your forearms. I think your teacher must spend a lot of time with you on technique and touch. I think your touch is very nice. And I'm not a pianist, so I'm not quite sure how much of it's the piano and how much it's your touch. But watching you play, you don't have the fingers in the hands of somebody that hasn't really studied their fingers in their hands. I think that's very, very nice. And I think the performance was wonderful. And good luck to you in the future, and very happy with what I heard.
Thanks.
Yeah, wow. Great performance. I really enjoyed it a lot. I agree with my colleagues wholeheartedly. If I can make criticisms, and I say this, it's really just, it's almost just a preference on my part. In the first piece, just some of I would have liked to hear a little bit more voicing in the two separate lines that you're playing. Again, a very minor comment, and maybe in the second piece a little bit of drama at the end chord, but really just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful performance. I enjoyed it a great deal.
Thanks.
Bravo. I really enjoyed listening to you. May I ask how long you've been working on these pieces?
Something like 2 to 3 months or something like that.
Only 2 or 3 months, and you can play them like that. Wow, that's very impressive. I really enjoyed your playing, and I love both pieces, really. The Lark, I thought you had a very good balance between 3 voices. Not easy to do with 2 hands and 3 voices. And there was a great start to it. If there was one thing that I would have wanted to hear different, is just some dynamic contrasts with the texture changes. Like when it gets to that really big part, bum 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 bum. It could have laid into that a little bit more. And that B flat major chord at the very end, where it just goes in there, right at the very end. I would have just loved to hear you sink into that chord a little bit more. It's just scrumptious. But they're really nitpicky things. It was a beautiful interpretation. And again, with the Moszkowski, the first time I attempted that piece, I hid from it, and I didn't pull it back for many years. I was very afraid of it. And I was probably about 15. So... but great balance, beautiful playing, and really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Hi, Ruoyi. Congratulations. Very beautiful playing. Even though you're in the lyrical section, I think your playing demonstrates great virtuosity and you have a very good command of the stage. Now, I have a few little suggestions. Since you have such good virtuosity, the next level you may progress is to think a little bit about applying your rubatos, how you can take advantage of the sound to shape your phrases, how each one unfolds to the next. This, with the command of time, will give you the extra level or dimension to express your music. And one more thing is, between the pieces, allow yourself to finish and give yourself some time so that you are set in the mood for the next one. That would place you in an even more advantageous point to start the second piece. I enjoyed your playing because I can feel your heart communicating the music to me. So I think with those little suggestions, if you implement that, you have a bright future, and I can see that you can continue to bring wonderful music to the world. I look forward to hearing more of you. Congratulations and bravo.
Wonderful. Thank you, judges, for your comments, and thank you for a fabulous, impressive performance. This was a great, great treat. And now we'll be moving on to our next contestant, who is joining us, I believe, as far as from Hong Kong. It's got to be the next day in Hong Kong. And we are really, really proud of the young musicians being able to connect to this broadcast in real time. This is all not pre-recorded, happening right in front of your eyes. And so welcome on stage, Virginia Bent, a voice contestant in the artistic nomination Lyrical.
Look at me, I will never pass for a perfect bride or a perfect daughter. Can it be I'm not meant to play this part? Now I see that if I were truly to be myself, I would break my family's heart. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? Somehow I cannot hide who I am, though I've tried. When will my reflection show who I am inside? When will my reflection show who I am
What an angel voice. Do the judges know?
Rather angelic. Hi, Virginia. I don't know whether you hadn't tested the microphone out or not, but I thought the piano was a little too loud for your voice. So that might be something you want to think about in the future. I loved your singing. I loved your presentation, except for I would like to see you do something with your hands. I don't know what exactly. I was married to an opera singer for a very long time, and she had a way of expressing herself, and her hands helped her with what she did. I just felt that you had your arms down to your side most of the time, except for when you lifted up that little jewel case or whatever it was, and it just didn't seem there was enough movement to your body, and that when in singing you don't have an instrument to kind of move around with, you just have your own self. So I think that's my only minor criticism of what you did. Also at the beginning, you weren't looking at the camera, and I think it's very important, since you don't have an audience, that you look at the camera as if there was somebody actually there. But all in all, I was very happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Virginia. Wonderful performance. I agree with Mike. I saw that you had some movement, but I think it could be more. And it's just I'm also the singer, and so I like it's good to be expressive with your body, to sort of you're telling part of your story with your body as well as with your voice and singing and so forth. And I love the thing that you were doing. That was great. I just I think more. Think Broadway stage. They do things a little bit more exaggerated. So you want to just like push it a little bit more. And I also think that you could be closer to the camera, closer to the microphone, and I think that will accentuate everything that you're doing. Even more so, opposed to having the piano kind of crowd you out. Sound good?
Yeah.
Hello. Well, it's nice to hear you, and I thought you had a very expressive interpretation. The one thing that I would work toward is something that I think will fix everything that all of my colleagues have said so far, is breathing. You have to work towards breathing a lot lower and more relaxed. And I think, intonation will be a lot easier. Your sound will come a lot more forward, and your words will flow a lot more freely. And then you'll be able to move your body around. Now, in turn, that's one of the hardest things to do in all the singing experience that I've had and stage experience. I've noticed breath support is the first thing you need, but it's also the first thing to go bye-bye. The second you take a step away, it's so easy to lose the breath after the first note or so. And that's why I think a lot of people climb up and just stay in one spot. But the more attention you can give to that, and be aware of that while you're singing, the more you're going to be able to do, and you're on the track to something great. So thank you for your performance.
Thank you.
Virginia, you have a very beautiful voice, and you have a good characterization of the personality. What I would suggest you could do, I agree totally with my colleagues about your breath work. If you can work on your breath, and also before you sing, to achieve your intonation by thinking beforehand where you want to attack a certain note, so that you're prepared in advance in your brain, so that your body can help you achieve that. I think it would be a little pointer that you can experiment with and see if it helps you. But I feel that you are very immersed in the characterization, and your singing is confident. I hope that you will enjoy this process and continue to explore. And bravo, keep going.
Thank you.
Yes, Virginia, I think that you are. First of all, I agree completely with my colleagues, and there is something I want to add to that. I think that the timbre of your voice is very interesting, so that's very good. It's a basic. Why you sing? You have something. One of the things I've heard tonight is the timbre of your voice is very interesting. I think that you need to sing. You already sang, but I mean, you need to project more when from the very first first note that you sing, tell people you love to sing. Let them know. We didn't understand much of that tonight. You had to first know you are great, then you can convince everybody about it. That's all I have to say. But you did very, very well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Virginia. Thank you very much, judges. And I hope, Virginia, you are able to take the comments and go with it forward. You're at a wonderful place, and you will be even developing more and more with every stage experience and with every encounter with musicians who had done this for many years and been in every place along the way. We'll be moving on to our next performer, and welcome on stage pianist Kaiden Griggs. Again, this is 10 and under, amazing musicians from around the world, and he's in the artistic nomination of virtuosity. Welcome on stage.
Hi, Kaiden. That was excellent. I love dueling piano, so you got me there for sure. Yeah, I just all that I can say is I want to see more. I want to see more. It was really I enjoyed your performance a great deal.
Hi there. Well, bravo on playing a piece that a lot of people just don't seem to play. At least from what I hear, they always want to play the D minor, and that's so. It was nice to hear this. You have this worked out really well, memorized well, and there's just two things in general that I would have loved to hear. For my taste, I'd like to hear it a little bit faster. And what I think you could do that would help achieve that is more specifically on the octave passages in the beginning, to just really be over the keys before you play them, and really try to lay into that with your whole arm and your elbow rather than just having your arms come down on it so much. And I think that'll help you with the speed, because you got all the finger work down really well, and I think that'll come. But the octaves, I think, are what may have been holding you back a little bit. But I mean, this is a big piece. How long have you been working on this?
For a few months.
Oh, only a few months. Well, wow, that's impressive. Wonderful. Well, keep up the great work, and I hope to hear more from you.
Hi, Kaiden. It's a pleasure hearing you play. First of all, your performance is very confident, very well prepared, and your playing shows great agility and stamina. And I think you're attempting a very challenging piece that's way, way more challenging than normally a 10-year-old would handle. So bravo to taking this great challenge, and you had a very solid preparation. Now, I have a few suggestions that you can take into consideration. The first thing is, while you're playing, even though you have very good dexterity, try to aim for longer lines, because right now I do hear that you're taking care of small groups and you're linking together these small groups, and the octaves are in short phrases. If you can maintain that longer sense of line, it will give you a better music direction so that you feel you're going from one point to another. And with these lines, you develop a stronger sense of structure. And that will help you communicate your music to the next level. Also, while you're doing that, I know it's very difficult because you have to manage all the octaves and they're jumping here and there, but also listen more attentively to the tonal quality and the dynamics. For instance, when you were playing the trills, think about, do you want to hear the trills more or your left-hand melody more? So try to make that kind of musical decision, because the virtuosity seemingly comes easy for you, and it's really impressive that after a few months you can play this wall horse to this level. So maybe the next level you can look into is more details into highlighting the musical nuances that you can explore. Your playing shows great potential, and I think you can, if you move on to the next level of refinement, you'll be a great concert artist someday. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Congratulations, very good performance, especially a piece difficult like that, and at your age. Bravo. A couple of remarks. I would need more sound on the octave, I mean more dynamic range in general. So when it is more espressivo part, having more like maybe softer sound still present, but softer, and in the octave maybe they find more like my colleague was saying before, more arm strength in that. and the runs they were all very good. The sometimes the clarity was coming less in the chords or but in the runs they were a perfect clarity. Bravo. Keep up, go, do it. Great.
Hi, Kaiden. I have to admit that I'm a little bit jealous. That's a beautiful music room you have with two pianos and a nice library there, and just a gorgeous room. And I mean, it's a nice place to practice. I'm sure you have a lot of good moments there. I have a question for you. I assume the pianos were tuned recently, but can you tell me when they were tuned last?
When they were tuned last?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. To me, first of all, it's great that you have two pianos. The two pianos sounded very different. The piano you were playing with sounded more brittle to me and a little bit out of tune. That's why I asked about the piano. Let's see. Yeah, it sounded a little brittle. I think that you know the piece well and you memorized it well. I would be interested to hear what it sounded like if you played it 30 or 40 times with your eyes closed. It seemed to me you were following every note with your eyes, which made me think you were still kind of looking at the music in your head. And I would like to see you just be into the music, and you're into the music, I shouldn't say it that way. It was wonderful. I just think that if you could play it with your eyes shut, it would give you another dimension in your playing that wasn't quite on the paper. It would be off the paper, and as musicians, we like to be off the paper. But very, very well done. I'm very impressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kaiden, and thank you very much, judges, for all the helpful comments. And this was wonderful to hear this Mendelssohn concerto. What a brilliant way to end this age group. We're finishing the youngest age group, 10 and under. And I would like to encourage all of our viewers and listeners to please comment. Give our contestants encouragement. Show yourself that you're present. I know there is an audience behind the camera, and we would like to feel that presence of the live audience. Share with us where you're from, where you are, where you're watching this program, what you think about the Sound Espressivo competition. And just to recap, this is the first day of the semifinals for Sound Espressivo Global Competition. It is not pre-recorded performance program. This is all happening in real time, and we have contestants from all over the world participating in this semifinal round. They are competing for a slot in the finals. The final round of the competition will be in January, at the end of January 29th and 30th, and that's when the selected finalists will take a stage and will compete for over 40 prizes, which are provided by management companies and educational institutions from around the world. They're providing sponsorships and scholarships for contestants to go on tours, to perform in various concert halls, to record, to have a website built for them, to have a photo study, all the things which musicians of all ages need. We need support for growth, education, promotion, and opportunity to perform. Most important, opportunity to perform and perform and perform again. And now we're moving on to the next age group. I'm happy to welcome on stage the first performer in the age group 11 through 14. And this will be Brandon Kim, a cellist, in the artistic nomination Virtuosity. Welcome on stage.
Bravo. Hey, how long have you been working on this?
A few months.
A few months? Wonderful. You play with great energy and excitement, and I really appreciate hearing you with all that energy. One thing I was just wondering, when was the last time the piano was tuned?
I do not know.
Okay. I've played this piece so many times, and it just sounded like you were all a half step under. So it just had me wondering. I can't suggest that you just tune the piano right now, but it just sparked my curiosity. That's all. No, but I love your energy. The one thing that I could have really used is just more contrast between sections, and I don't necessarily mean dynamics, of course, dynamics, but just there's that lyrical middle section, and you could have just like really played into that and soared a little bit more throughout, and then of course the coda just takes off like crazy. But if you can just find a way to have a different levels of sound and tone and textures through all that, that would be wonderful. But I really enjoyed your energy, and hope to hear more from you. Congrats.
Hi, Brandon. Congratulations to your performance. I like it very much in that you have a very solid performance with great confidence and very well prepared, extremely fluent. Now, next level you might consider is work more on the intonation just to make sure every precise little detail is in place. That would complement your playing. And also, since you have a good command, give a little time when you transition from one section to the next so that you can feel that you have completed one and then you move on to the next. And last little thing you might consider is I see at the end of your playing, you have very nice, smooth, complete bowing. I really love the sound that comes from there. Maybe even in the more busy passages, you can consider how you can bring in that kind of smoothness and completion of bowing that can maybe help you more with your intonation. So look through those things, but I'm very, very impressed in your virtuosity and keep up with the great work.
Yeah, bravo. I especially admire your confidence. You can come out immediately from your playing, which I think is, if you ask me, I think is the best quality you can have. Then you can, on there, you can build whatever you want. I'm pretty direct. I think the main problem you have is intonation, especially in the high sound. The high sound, they come flat. Sorry if I am direct about this, but at the end of the scale, the highest note comes flat. At the end, the virtuoso passage also it was a mix of the intonation and the and clarity. But you have all your life to have fun with this stuff, so there is no problem for you. Bravo.
Hi. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you rehearsed this with your pianist?
Like 4 or 5, 4, I think.
Okay. When I did my first concert, my first classical concert with my group, we rehearsed for a year, 6 hours a week before we played in front of anybody. And, you know, we weren't thinking about what the notes were or how fast we were going to play or what we were going to do at the transitions. And it sounds to me like you only rehearsed 4 times. And I think that it's not a cello solo with piano. I think it's a duet with cello and piano. And that's what I didn't get. I mean, your playing's fine. You know, you're 10 years old or 13 years old, I guess. And so, you know, like Giacomo says, you're going to have a great future, no doubt about it. But I want you to think about ensemble playing, which you're thinking as a soloist now, but not as an ensemble player. And I think being an ensemble player is really important, even with 2 people, because that's an ensemble. And so I would like you to think about that. And now, regarding that, when you guys played in time, it was, you know, it was like, I mean, the time was just wonderful. But every time you got to like a little something, end of a phrase, you didn't really end together. That's the first clue I had that you hadn't rehearsed much. And so that would be my only suggestion to you, because you know, there's little things. There's intonation, but your timing's good, your presentation is good. There's a lot of really good things you do, but you've got to rehearse more. I mean, the 2 of you have to be one. So just keep that in mind. And congratulations, you did a beautiful job.
Hi, Brandon. Yeah, I like the performance as well, and you know, I agree with with my colleagues on all counts actually. And my only comment is, you know, in excess to what they were saying, is just some of the phrasing. I would have liked to see you kind of lean into it a little bit more and just bring it out a little bit more. But yeah, I enjoyed your performance, and yeah, I look forward to more.
Thank you very much, Brendan and the accompanist. This was beautiful to hear cello and piano in this interaction, and I'm sure you will take the comments with you and build on that and continue to progress forward and forward. We will be moving on to our next contestant before we offer the stage to Matthew Brand. I again would like to ask our audience, please comment, please send your wishes, send your suggestions, send your thoughts. Share with us where you're from and why you're joining us today to hear these performances. This is Sound Espressivo competition semifinals. Next, next Matthew Brand, a pianist, will take stage and welcome. This will be innovative artistic nomination.
Bravo. Bravo, Matthew. May I ask you two questions?
Sure.
The first question is, how long have you studied composition? And
Composition?
yes.
So I've been doing classical piano for about 8 or 9 years, I'd say. Composition, though, I'd say for about 6 or 7. I've always been creating things in a way.
And how long have you spent working and creating these two compositions?
These two pieces I actually composed back in 2018. I was only 10, but I think in 2021 I revisited them, I revised them a bit, I touched them up and made them sound much more grand. So,
well, congratulations. I'm really pleased to hear that, because it's very rare that one would continue to work on pieces over and over after a period of time. And I'm really very happy to see that you're polishing the pieces, and it shows. It definitely shows. First of all, I find that your playing of your own compositions are very convincing, and you have good technique, and you play it in a very wonderful, powerful manner. In the first composition, Under the Willow, I think your playing and interpretation is excellent, and your writing, you depicted that scenery very well, with that repetition of that chromatic figure and how you blend your harmonies together. Is very sensitively interwoven, and I like also how you transition to the middle section. So the overall coherence in your composition is fantastic. It just ties in very fluidly, and I love it. Now, the next one, the Fire Dance, you opened with a very powerful dissonance, and later on you go also into a very dramatic transition. And in the middle section, you interweave it with very beautiful colors. I love the way you plan your pieces. And I think maybe the next level you can explore is how you can further work on the articulations, the finer gradations of dynamics, or even explore more about how you can use different kinds of quality of sounds, like pedaling. So I think the sky is the limit. You have the potential. Keep going. It's wonderful. And I think you have it on the right track. I really look forward to more. Bravo.
Thank you.
Matthew, I don't have any criticism about what you did. I loved it. I loved it. I love all of what you do. The composing style, tonal, but also in the second composition insert some dissonance that's right my taste of contemporary composition. Your playing was impeccable. Yes, if I want to throw in a criticism, maybe you could have enlarged especially in the expressive part, the dynamics, make it maybe a little softer sometimes, a little more moving, but the composition was very well done, and you are playing also. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. He couldn't have said it better. It's spectacular playing and spectacular writing. I want to thank you for doing that. Maybe you're going to be our next Leonard Bernstein or something. I don't know. You really got it. Let me encourage you, if you haven't done it already, to start arranging and learning how to write for other instruments, because I think it'll enrich everything you do. And I agree also that the use of dissonance was very nice. And I've always, my preference in music is tonal music that takes it out a little bit, that I never get lost where the melody is. And you certainly did that. And this is not a criticism at all. The next couple of things I'm going to say is I'm not sure that in the first piece, in the Willow piece, that your two hands were talking to each other. like the ostinato on the bottom, it seems like the basis of what you do with your right hand, and sometimes it didn't seem like they were, like it was boom, 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 and then you play something with your right hand, that they were actually talking to each other. Again, that's not a criticism. It's a minor issue with I think how you played it, but not a complaint. Believe me, very nice. And the second piece, of course, the dissonance in the middle there was spectacular. Your presentation was wonderful, and you got it, man. Just keep studying. You're gonna have a wonderful career.
Thank you.
Hi, Matthew.
Hello.
I remember from last year. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
All that I can say is more, more, more. I love it. It's great. I agree with Mike. I'd like to see your compositions for some other instruments. I always enjoy your performance. I love how you play, and I love how you present yourself. And I only see it getting better in time. And thank you.
Bravo. I do have one question for you, and that is, where and how can I buy copies of these pieces? Because I want to play them. Have you thought about publishing them yet?
I have. I've actually been putting together some sort of collection of pieces I've written in the past, short piano segments, and I'm working on that still. I have one piece that's for flute and cello or something like that I need to arrange for piano, but yeah. I think I've been planning on that, if publishing anything.
Well, I'm on pins and needles for that. So, this was just great writing. Very creative, and very captivating, and wonderful. I agree with Angela a little bit, and just that through the your studies with piano, I would try to explore more on creating different sounds, tones, and textures, like staccato, and then some of those spots where you really lay into it to just get rounded sounds up on the top there. But it was all very convincing. It was just I think you could go further, and I forgot who said it. The sky's the limit. Just keep going. It was wonderful. Bravo.
Thanks.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, judges. And I want to add my voice to that. Matthew, when you publish your pieces, please let us know, because I'd like to play them myself, and I would like to have to offer them to my students to also learn. They're very colorful. They're so fun, and this is wonderful to have an opportunity to play them. Give me a promise. When are you publishing it?
I'll see. I'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out. And I know you will.
Soon.
And figure it out soon. Don't wait until you're gray-haired and you have 100 pieces in your bank. Publish them as you go. Because, people will play it. It's great music. Thank you.
Means a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay, we will be moving on to our next contestant. And again, I would like to invite our audience. Please comment, please participate. We as musicians want to connect. We want to feel your presence. This is Sound Espressivo Global Competition Semifinals. The finals will be at the end of January. And today, and for the next 4 days, the contestants take stage. It's a virtual live stage. They take stage from all over the world, and they're competing for an opportunity to perform again in the finals. Our next contestant is Rachel Lipp. She's a violinist and will be performing for us in the nomination Lyrical. Welcome on stage.
question. How long have you been playing violin?
Since I was 7,
So for how long?
about like 4 years.
4 years. So the piece that you played is very simple, pretty simple. It looked to me that you need to spend more your repertoire and develop more your violin playing with pieces that are more demanding, and it look like that the violin is still, so there is you and then there is the violin. It needs to come closer. You need to come closer to your instrument by doing more of it, more pieces of how you play it, more pieces more difficult. This is my advice.
Thank you.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you very much. It was a very nice piece. I have a couple of things that I would like to suggest to you. The intonation was a little tough, and what it sounds like to me is that you practice the pieces through constantly, that you never took 2 notes, like maybe just the first 2 notes, and played them 10 or 20 times until they were really in your head. You knew that when this finger went down, it was going to be dead on in tune. Can I ask you a question? Were you a little nervous when you started?
Yes.
Well, join the club. And all the judges are laughing because we've all been there. Again, how much have you practiced this?
Well, I played this piece when I was younger, and I just came back to it.
It sounds like it needs more work. You know, it sounds like you just came back to it. And, you know, you had that and the nerves, and that's a big mountain to jump over. So I would suggest a couple of things here. Practice each individual separately, and I'm talking about the whole piece. Just go from one interval to the next interval and just study it till you just know that you cannot miss that place on a board that doesn't have any frets on it. You know, it's not a guitar, so you got to just really nail wherever that is. The other thing is vibrato. It doesn't seem like you've really studied vibrato or committed to the kind of vibrato that you're going to have ultimately. And that's really brings a lot of life to a piece of music, you know, bringing the vibrato in and taking it out at different times. It helps you move the music, right? And your vibrato is just kind of like, it's small, and it's like, you're like kind of afraid to just, you know, let it be a little bit bigger. So those are my suggestions. Yeah, that's it. And also dynamics. You can have a little more dynamics, okay? Within the phrases, it's fine, but I think you need to find places where you can just play louder and play softer. But thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, Rachel. Yeah, I had to laugh with Mike because, I remember some of my first violin auditions. I was very nervous as well. So we all can sympathize. And I agree with my colleagues. And I just think, just keep hammering on the intonation a little. It would be great to have a little bit more expression and vibrato and so forth. And I think you can pull this piece together. Thank you.
Thanks.
Rachel, I think your playing is actually very reliable and you have a very solid memory. To help you better, what you could explore is probably your bowing. Sometimes your bowing is a little bit not so free. I see that your body is essentially like in one position. If you allow your body to breathe and your bow arm to move a little bit more, it can set you up for more flexibility. And it would also help you break down the nerves a little bit so you feel you're more in command. If you're kind of limited in a small space, somehow it doesn't allow you to open up. I think it would be a good strategy that you can explore. And also, one more thing is when you go into your bow, try to work on the balance on the bow, on the string, so that you can get a more swift turn when you change from up bow to down bow. That may be something you can explore overall. But today you gave a very reliable performance and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel, and thank you, judges, for a lot of constructive suggestions. This is what the Sound Espressivo competition is trying to provide for all contestants, to take away some more perspective from different musicians, from different fields, from different countries, very different backgrounds. We have composers, conductors, pianists, wind instruments, players, and string instrument players. We have musicians of all different aspects. It's very important and enriching, I find myself, when I talk with my colleagues who play different instrument, not to hear just the suggestions for pianist from a pianist and for violinist from violinist. I want to hear what the conductors think about my playing, what the flutists think about my playing, because in our professional life, I found that I collaborate with musicians of all different fields all the time. And it's very important for me to enrich my playing with the ability to hear the music from perspective of those different instruments. So thank you for playing. We will be moving on to our next contestant, and this will be Kaiden Lee, pianist, in the artistic nomination Profound. Take stage.
Uh, I would like to get a autographed version of your first record. That's spectacular playing, man. I mean, it's just wonderful. You've got a very bombastic room and a very bombastic piano, and I like your touch anyway. I don't think the room helped you at all. I don't think the piano, I'd love to hear it on a really nice, long, grand piano. But, you know, we have what we have, right? I mean, we can't help that. But I have to tell you, I just loved everything about that. And your presence, and just, your neighbors must love listening to you practice, because it's, thank you. Lovely.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. I also I love the dynamics. I love the presence of the piece and your playing. I enjoyed it a great deal. Yeah, thank you. Bravo.
Oh, bravo. In case you're wondering, I disappeared for a while. My power is out. But what an age we live in the 21st century. We can still do this without power. And I poked back in maybe about 2 measures in, so I got almost your entire piece. I remember first learning this piece and how difficult it was to just get everything all lined up well. And so kudos to you for that. And you're a lot younger than I was when I first started this piece. A few notes. Sorry, the moving things. Okay, all right. I loved your interpretation. There's one thing specifically about this piece that every one of us gets caught up in for a while, at least once, and that is just we tend to fall in love with the bits and subphrase the sections a little too much. Right at the beginning, that da 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 dum dee dee ba da da da. It wasn't that bad, but it kind of has to keep flowing along. It's all one phrase. It's not 3 subphrases. I noticed the same thing just at the end with those amazing scales you played, where you came up off the keys and it's like, is he done? No, he goes again. You know, so I would just stay in those moments, and I think that you're just going to get a lot more out of the instrument and the piece just by doing that. I mean, you're doing great things, but it's the whole less is more concept. Bravo.
Thank you.
Hi, Jaden. You delivered a very convincing performance with great solidity and confidence. Bravo. Now, since you are going for the profundity category, I would like to raise a few questions which I think it might be interesting for you to ponder. The first thing is, when you were treating the da-da-dee-dee-dee-bum, those, they call it the bebung, which is a recurrent theme. Try to think if they are more to be brought out, or you want it to be just a subtext, and see if you have decided on what role it plays. Then you might have come to some decision of how you might want to treat it. That's the first thing. Also, when you're playing in between the phrases, what you could do is really take time and experience the timing between the phrases. I feel in some ways, even though you're trying to bring forth a sense of rubato, your rubato were kind of predictable. What I meant is, when you repeat in the cycle, they go more or less the same. However, actually, when Chopin described about rubato, he used the analogy of the big tree, where the trunk doesn't move, the branches move a little bit, and the small branch move more, and the little leaves move like crazy. When you are doing that, you can see if the phrases are the branches or the little notes are the leaves. Then you can come to a decision of how you want your rubatos to move. For example, a good example that you can think about is breathing. How do you breathe? You take a breath and you let it back. You might go faster, and a little slower coming back. So even though there is a form to it, it's not exactly the same. And that will give you a level of improvisation, even though while you're playing it. So I think you can consider those things. And one more thing is, because you are at the higher level, the expectation that comes with it in playing a Chopin ballade is even more high. So one thing is, before you play through it, think about why you're doing certain things. And from that, you will get how to do it. And I think it's a very useful inspiration for you to think about. So apart from that, I love your piano playing, and I can see a lot of effort in it. And please keep going, and I know you'll have a bright future. Bravo.
Great playing. I especially like the ending. A lot of fire, and personally, I think at the end you shouldn't care about clarity. Just kill everybody and play. You know, just that's it. You do whatever you want. Play all those. I would even curse here. I'm not allowed to. But so anyway, I think the overall performance was great, but the second idea there, fa sol sol mi, fa re do. That's I'm not singing it well, but you understand what I'm talking about. That part is one of the most, I think, is one of the most beautiful melody ever written for piano. It has to be done with great legato and intimacy. I would call it intimacy. So bring the public inside the piano. Like, you should see some in the public being moved with tears, because it's beautiful melody. That's all I have to say. Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo. That's one of my favorite pieces to listen and to play, and one of the most challenging. One part for me very challenging always is everybody plays it. So you hear all different interpretations, and I was very refreshed by yours. I'm not judging, so I can just throw in my thoughts all I want. But thank you very much for bringing this on stage with the Sound Espressivo. We are proud of all these performances. Wonderful job. We'll be moving on to the next, and we are going to present Piano Trio, Jae-moon, Madison Bai, and Brandon Kim. And they are in the artistic nomination category, lyrical. Take the stage, it's all yours.
Hi guys, I love the performance. Oh, where are you guys located again?
Virginia, Reston, Virginia.
Okay, great. Yeah, and how long have you all been playing together?
Almost a year.
Almost a year. That's great. Yeah, I love this piece, and I love how you guys play together. Keep going.
Get my flashlight coordinated here. I'm still in the dark. we really suffer for our art in this field here. No, I really enjoyed listening to you all. You all play with great musicality and great lyricism. One thing, ensemble thing that I would really work on as you keep exploring this piece and other repertoire is just knowing just general phrase shaping. Who has the melody? Who has the accompaniment? Who has the foundational part? Usually the piano, but not always. And just who should come out more? Who should come out less? You know, where are the climaxes of each phrase? Where's the climax of the piece? And I could tell that you kind of had that in mind, but I could have used a lot more of that. So just keep working at that, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing great things from you all in the coming years.
I think you did a good job. Now, what I heard very beautifully actually is at the end, where I hear which instrument is to be featured, and I see that there is a dialogue in between. So I'm very sure that you're capable of doing that. Try to explore that part more and apply it from the beginning until the end. Because if you try to think like that, it will give you a better clue to how the music can unfold. And also, for the string players, consider refining on your intonation so you can work individually on polishing that. And when you have the dialogue, make sure that you both are exactly like one instrument. A trio is actually not three, but how you can combine all three to form one. So if you try to think in those terms, I think it would be along the path that you will improve to the next level. So keep going. Playing trio is really fun, and I look forward to more from the three of you. Bravo.
That was good, and I felt there was a name of expression from all of you. You wanted to express there is a problem or two. One is the voicing of the different instrument accords, so the accompaniment cannot play the same dynamic as the main melody. So by lacking of these elements of dynamic, you cannot, if your expression gets limited. One. Two, I found some intonation problem. Sorry to pick up on someone, but on the violinist, it was a bit flat here and there. So, but anyway, you guys can you have all the possibility of doing great in the future, no problem. Thank you.
Hi. I hope you guys stay together for a long time. I think after a few years, you're going to have a world-class group. There was a little problem with the sound in that room on the other performance I heard tonight in that stage, and tonight's performance and this performance on that stage. And I like that you have a nice little stage setup in there. That's really a nice setup. But you need to check your sound before you play it again for anybody, because it's kind of agitating with all the dropouts, and I don't think you're recording too loud. One of my compatriots here said it was a microphone. I'm not an audiologist, so I don't know about that stuff. well, I know a little bit about it, but I don't know what you need for microphones. I know what I need when I work. But so think about your microphone. Make sure you recorded it and you've listened back to it so there's no distortion. I felt in general it had a really nice feeling, and you know, the only thing that got in my way was the sound problem. So keep playing. I hope you guys, have a group for a long time, because music with 3 people is fun. Chamber music's my favorite music. It's always been my favorite music, and I think you got something if you want it. Thank you.
Thank you, trio. This is wonderful, and this is so great to be making music together, and you really are into it. I can't agree more with everyone who said, please stay together. You will benefit from each other's input so much through rehearsals, through performances. It's an incredible way to communicate feelings and the deepest emotions we have when we play together. It's even in many ways different and more profound than having a conversation with each other. This is conversations beyond words. And thank you for taking stage and for working on bringing chamber music to the Sound Espressivo competition. We're really pleased to have you here. We'll be moving on to the next contestant, and a small change in the program. After Grace Small performs his presentation, Mary Beth Orr will take a stage and present hers, and then we'll go back to the announced order with Lydia Chinchilla following her. And now presenting Grace Small, a guitarist, in the Virtuoso nomination.
Bravo! It was a really wonderful performance. Such great contrast between tones and textures, and it was just very interesting to listen to. Very pleasing to listen to you. You've prepared very well, and you're a very fine musician. I have nothing to say about the first piece, and I have one suggestion over the second piece, and I was thinking just more at the beginning. I'm like, where's the Fuoco, the fire? And then of course you showed us at the very end. But if there's a way to maybe like heat it up a little bit more at the beginning, and it just I think that would just pull everyone in a little bit more. I'm just being nitpicky at this point. It was really wonderful. Bravo.
Thank you.
Hi, great. Congratulations to the beautiful and powerful performance. I like your virtuosity, and you're always very well controlled in your technique. This is wonderful. And I see in the Albanese that your voices are very well highlighted, and your movements are very stable. What you could think about to the next level.
Somebody getting an Amber Alert?
Yes.
I don't think that was me.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So, as I said, your voices in the Albanese is very well highlighted, and your movement is very stable. But when you work from the dynamics, from very soft to very loud, you can give it more oomph, more sense of urgency, because the technique is at your fingertips now. If you can push it to your limits so that it becomes more drastic, instead of just within a certain range, but the powerful much more, so it optimizes the dynamic contrast. And I think there's a lot more opportunities for expression within your piece. Now, in your Albanese, in the last part, when you return to the theme, I detected that it was a little bit like maybe your attention waned a little bit, and it sounded that you were not as powerful or as convicted as the first half. Is that correct?
I'd say like there's a aspect to where I'm trying to come in a little quieter and a little bit like grow it a little bit more, but I do believe I could have made that grown it a little bit more towards the end of it, especially to the same conviction that I did the first time.
Because I see you have a very good technique. What you could practice for is, the first thing is magnify your contrast in your dynamics, and sometimes see what are the limits that you can move through, because you would be capable of that. It's the next range that you can explore. And for your Fuoco with your Roland composition, I see that there are a lot of repetitive patterns. When you do the repetitions, maybe you can consider how you can make some variations, like building layers to maintain more interest, so that it doesn't give you a kind of a hypnotic effect. Because when you're doing the same thing over and over, you hypnotize yourself, and you want to hypnotize your audience too. But if you create more variety on that, it gives you a stronger sense of direction. And the last thing is, I love the way you do your percussive effects in your Fuoco. You can push it even more to make it very dramatic. Think of at the end you break your guitar and see how it might work. Because I see that now you have such great technical virtuosity, but now use all that you have to your creative advantage and let it out more. I see that for you, just with a slight tweaking, you can be superbly fantastic.
Thank you.
Bravissimo, you say in Italian. You definitely have a great talent. About Asturias, I have one comment. One time I went to Bulgaria performing a festival there, and before me there was a guitarist playing the same piece. The busyness of the notes before the chords. I liked how you did it, but I prefer more the guitarist there. He was cleaning all the passage before and take the time to, I'm not a guitarist myself, but take the time to play the chord with fire and then go back, maybe stretch the time a little and play clean those things. The rest was perfect. The second piece, I don't know it. So I didn't understand. I would have wished to have the music in front of me. In the beginning, I didn't know what, there were kind of portamenti there. I don't know. I only say that the end of the piece, I love the composition, that percussive thing, and I think you did it very well. Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, hi, Gray. I don't know much about piano, but I can tell you it was a very mature performance. I really liked the performance, both pieces. I have a couple of things to say. The first piece, I'm not a guitarist. I don't know much about guitar. I listen to a lot of it, but I don't, when you don't play an instrument, you don't get the subtleties of it. So, but what it sounded like to me was, when you had the right hand, you were doing all this, that, and then you had the melody, boo dee boo dee boo dee boo da. It seemed to me that the right hand was weak or the left hand was strong. I don't know which, I liked it, but that's what I thought. Okay, the second piece, I thought you were more committed to. I thought it was brilliant. And every time you played that dominant seven with a +9, I laughed because it's kind of out, except for that one chord,
Yeah.
And it makes it funny. I don't know. Maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe I shouldn't laugh, but it's really an interesting change to what's going on harmonically with the rest of the piece.
Yeah.
And I think you're a very mature player for your age, and I think you're going to do fine. I hope you build up a huge repertoire and you end up going as far as you want to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. I love the performance. It was absolutely super fantastic. I thought the first piece was excellent. I love it, and it did a great job. The second piece, I thought you really brought it off in the end. I don't know if it's really a comment on your playing, or I don't know if I'm a believer of that piece. I guess that's what it comes down to. But maybe what James was saying is probably, I think if to do something in the beginning to sort of like to bring it, maybe foreshadow, like
put more Fuoco into the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah, something like that. I don't know the piece so well, so it'd be interesting to see it. I have a feeling that you're being true to what's written. So I guess I'm a composer, and so as a composer, I would say maybe put a little bit more of you in it.
Okay, thank you.
But again, this is a finesse. Great performance.
Thank you.
Great performance, Gray. Thank you so much for bringing these pieces. And this was just a tremendous pleasure. I heard you perform in the audition just a few days ago, the preliminary audition, and the difference in the change is stunning, what you can do in just a few days of refining that composition. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And I want to comment also to judges. Thank you for looking into really refined details and giving comments for people to grow on. And I want to thank James for staying with us through a complete power outage. James, you look on screen to me like a ghost. Sorry, I mean it as a compliment. So you have your generator going, or how is it working? Tell me.
We have an in-home generator. We've had it for a long time. And the only downside is that it takes like 30 seconds to kick in. And then we have all these cords throughout the house that we have to string to the few outlets where it works. So,
Oh my goodness, but the graphic of it is stunning. Maybe for your next judging, we can arrange that even if you have power. I kind of like it.
Well, maybe we can do a Halloween competition next year, and we'll all have costumes and do spooky things, and play spooky music.
Yeah, for the next coming contestants, when James shows up on the stage, please don't be spooked. He's in the area which was hit hard by the storm and currently is experiencing power outages, and we are really glad that you have that generator. Our next performer will be welcoming on stage Mary Beth Orr, a French horn player, and she is nominated in the lyrical artistic category. The stage is yours, Mary.
I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger traveling through this world alone. There is no sickness, toil, nor danger in this fair land to which I go. I'm going home to see my mother. I'm going home, never grow. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm only going over home. I'm only going over home.
Wow, Mary Beth, that's a fantastic performance. I'll give you a standing ovation. It's really fantastic. Now, first of all, I don't have much negative comments. I mean, I think you have a great control of tone, and you have your performance shows a great sensitivity to the gradation of dynamics of how you start from a very soft sound to have the control to let it grow, and then how you let it die off. That gradation is phenomenally controlled. And you also have a very good sense of timing. I love the way how you when you play the horn, like that when you go down. One little suggestion I might have is, because of the fantastic sound that you can control, when you're going down, besides working on the dynamics or the embouchure, think about how you can change the character too. That will bring an element of surprise. And I think you can push that to that next level, will make my jaw drop, actually. And that part where you sang, all of a sudden, you surprised me. You took me by surprise in a very pleasant way. And overall, whether you sing or you play the horn, I hear that you have that amazing control in that sound. You can let it go, come out, and you can take it back. I love that factor. Continue to let it live through you, because I see there's a tremendous connection between you and your instrument, whether the instrument is the horn or your body as your instrument. You have a fantastic artistry to it. Continue to develop that, and you will be superbly outstanding. I look forward to hearing more of you. Fantastic. Bravo again.
Mary Beth, where are you?
In Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I would like also to see you, but okay. Can you tell me again?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
In Michigan. You are on a concert hall?
Oh, right now no, I'm not in a concert hall. We are in the Opera Grand Rapids rehearsal space.
Uh-huh. Nice. Also, I think the acoustic is great. Look, I don't have any comment to do because you are great. When you start playing the French horn, I think you are born to play the French horn. So that's what God gave you. The French horn, very difficult instrument, and you play it like it's nothing. Very easy for you. That's why you are born for that. Then you start singing. I say, no, you are born for singing. You have an incredible musicality, and you can only do great. Keep on doing what you do, and you will be heading somewhere great. That's all I have to say. Brava, bravissima.
Hi, Mary Beth. You don't hear unaccompanied French horn very often, and it was very refreshing. Very, very rangy piece. Was that written for you?
No, but it was written by a horn player named Lydia Butzler, and I discovered her as I was working on my master's at MSU to really embrace a lot of the female composers that were out there for the horn. And I fell in love with this piece, and it fit with the vision that I had for fusing folk and classical music together, because my whole ancestry comes from the Blue Ridge Mountains and Shenandoah Valley. So I grew up with mountain music, so that's how I discovered it.
So you added that. So did you add the mountain music to it, or was that part of the piece?
I decided to add the Wayfaring Stranger to that.
Yeah, well, all I can say is it was really great, and the range. I mean, you got some chops. There's no doubt about it. And congratulations! Thank you so much for playing for us.
Thank you so much.
Well, bravo, and I have power again. I am not in the dark anymore. It's really great to hear you perform, and two instruments. We rarely get to hear somebody perform two instruments in one song. But there was such a great dynamic range and lyricism to your playing. I mean, you obviously have a lot invested into this piece, and you really love it. And I thought that came off really well. So bravo. I had one thing about the singing. Your singing was beautiful, but I could have just used much more enunciation with the consonants. I was losing your words quite a bit. So, I mean, it was just a minuscule thing there, but, I mean, keep doing what you're doing. We need to hear more performances like this. Congrats.
Thank you.
Stunning performance. Thank you, Mary Beth. I love Appalachia. I'm not a judge, so I have no say in the matter, but I'm going to say this. You put me back into my favorite trails in Appalachians. This is incredible. Thank you for coming on stage and bringing this very unusual performance here. Your piece and your choice of the pieces really cut everybody's eyes.
Oh, that's so touching to me. That's why I do this, so that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did we have every judge speaking already, or did we miss anyone?
We missed Robert.
Oh yeah, Robert.
Yeah, thank you.
That's on our director. You can fly across the country and across the world and hit him in the head.
It was just one of those things because I was just like, wait. I know Lydia Butzler's work very well. I know her very well, and I just wanted to say, Mary fantastic job. As you know, as a composer that looks for musicians to play the works of living composers and women composers, but just living composers. And the horn is a difficult instrument to play. And like I said, Lydia is a horn player, and she writes beautifully for her instrument. And for you to pick that up it really made my heart glow, which is why I was like, I have to come on and talk. And then of course, then you just blow us away with your singing. Like, come on. But I enjoyed it a great deal. You're a fantastic performer. I look forward to seeing a lot more from you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, judges, and Mary Beth. Thank you for bringing such an unusual performance to the stage. We'll be inviting on stage our next performer, and Lydia Chinchilla is a flutist, and she is nominated in the category of lyrical. Take the stage, it's all yours.
Lydia, where are you?
I am in a suburb of Chicago, in Illinois.
And you are in a concert hall? What is that? An
Yes,
auditorium?
I'm at Wheaton College.
Okay. We are wondering if you could play one of the Bach movement. We would be curious to hear it. The pianist went away.
Yeah, no, yeah, we can. Which movement would you like?
Either the first or the third, whatever
Okay.
you are more comfortable with.
Okay, the first.
Okay, fine. brava. Okay, what I've noticed is first of all, you have a great, beautiful sound, round sound, also in the high note, which is very difficult on flute. Often you hear a push sound in the high notes, but you have a beautiful sound. I could hear that in the Reinecke piece. So little criticism about the Reinecke, okay. You were coming out clear in the high passage, in the lower passages, sometimes was a little mumbled. So that's a little criticism for the Reinecke. You played very well, by the way. I don't know if I said that. In general, was very, very good. The Bach, so Bach is the great genius of music. So we are all intimidated when we play his music. Instead, we shouldn't be intimidated. We should love his music and go with the, look how serene and beautiful is the movement. Instead of being preoccupied about all the little notes, enjoy. I know you don't have the possibility of breathing with Bach because it's one note after another. So imagine that you enjoy not breathing. So anyway, it was very, very good. Bravo.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
A couple of questions. I couldn't tell from looking at. Are you playing a gold flute?
Yes, it's 9K gold.
Sounds great. Really sounds great. I agree with Giacomo. The lower register isn't strong enough. I've played this piece a lot of times on concert tours also. I'm interested in your phrasing. Are you playing out of an text edition, or are you just made up your own phrasing from a Ron Paul's audition or something?
Are you talking about the Bach?
Yes, the Bach. Sorry.
I'm not sure about my edition. Which one is it? It's the. Yes, it is an text edition.
Okay. I've never heard the notes played so short before, which doesn't bother me. I mean, you can play it any way you want. But it's the first time I've ever heard that. And the other question I have is on the melody, da 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 da. You seem to go da 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 da. And it seems to me that last note is part of the next phrase. Da dee da 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 da. My 2 cents. You played it fine. Don't worry.
Well, thank you, though. Thank you.
You played it fine, but and I would rethink playing a lot of notes short all the time. I would vary them, whatever, just vary them so it doesn't sound so predictable. But beautiful playing, beautiful tone. Try and get those low notes a little louder. I know it's tough. I got the same problem. It's a low D. What can I tell you? But anyway, lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think I can add too much more to that. I loved the performance. Yeah, it's a little bit more articulation and especially some of the staccato, just maybe a little tighter and yeah, learn to be happy by not breathing, and and yeah, it's I love the performance. I thank you for playing the Bach.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of wonderful moments in your performance that I really enjoyed. I noticed a few general things between both pieces that I just wanted to make mention of. The ballade, ballade generally has 3 separate unwritten stanzas, but 3 separate themes, and I would just like to hear a little bit more definition with each one as it comes in, and just look where is it going, and where does it come from, where is it going, and it really was quite good. I just thought that it could use a lot more in those terms. And then the same with the Bach. Now the Bach generally doesn't generally have like new sections, well, it's in a different way. I mean, it's all counterpoint. It's like the same themes keep reoccurring, and then the episodes occur, but in different keys and in different voices. Sometimes it's in the flute, sometimes it's in the right hand of the piano, sometimes it's in the left hand of the piano, and then sometimes there's a happy little duo going on or something. I mean, there's just a whole lot more in those pieces than a lot of people realize, and I thought that could have been highlighted a lot more between the two of you. There's one thing I noticed. I played all of these except for the C-sharp minor trio. I've played them all numerous times, and every time I get with someone on the sonata, at least once in the rehearsal, we don't line up on the first note of the flute part, after that scale. So you just got to be really careful to feel like you're in the same pulse. It took a little while, I thought, for you both to kind of like align into the same pulse. After that, and so it's hard. I mean, the playing itself was really nice, and I hope I get to hear more of you.
Thank you.
Hi, Lydia. I enjoyed your performance very much. And what I think is, I agree with my colleagues in their comments for you. And I generally find that your top range to be spectacular, very beautiful. Now, if you can somehow apply that to your lower range, it would be magnificent. Also, when you work in terms of a duo and you are in such a beautiful concert hall, actually, you can use the acoustics of your concert hall and how you balance with your pianist in order to highlight your strengths. Now, for example, what I'm thinking is, now the low range is challenging, but if you want to bring through it, you can reduce the volume of the piano a little bit, and then you don't have to work so hard to bring it out. And because this is a very reverberant room, if you can reduce the volume of the top range, by contrast, your middle range will come through more. So those are certain things that you can relate and try to manipulate the situation based on the advantages that you have. How is the acoustics of the hall like? How you can balance out with your pianist or whoever your ensemble is with. That will highlight your strengths much more. And similarly, in your Bach, is much more of a contrapuntal work. If you can focus on that kind of contrapuntal where when is the pianist more, when is your line more, and create more of an interesting dialogue, it will complement your performance. So think about that. I mean, you already have most of it down. That's the next cream of the crop to put on that extra cherry on the pie, and you would be fantastic.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I have one more thing to say. I'd like to thank the pianist. That Bach is not an easy piece of music, and he did a nice job. And I think one of the things that I told this to somebody else tonight is if you practice together more rather than separately, and then just got together, you'll be happier. It's one of those pieces you can practice your whole life with somebody, and get joy out of it every single time. The other thing, as Dr. Chan said, if you get closer to the piano, you're not going to be so close to the microphone, and you and the piano will have an equal chance of being the same volume. You were very much louder than the piano most of the time, and I think it was just a microphone issue. And a lot of people play in the belly of the piano, and so I would either suggest that or open the piano up another stick. Because you're really outplaying the piano. and I love his playing. And thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lydia. And as a pianist, I want to thank very much your pianist. This is not easy piece. This is one of those really challenging and detailed pieces, especially playing with the flute. The beginning of each sound on the piano and on the flute is so different. That's where the percussiveness of the piano is not helping us very much. And your pianist was fabulous. I want to thank you very much for working on this piece.
Thank you.
Yeah, fabulous performances. I don't know how the judges are going to be selecting the finalists from this session. I don't envy your job. We get fabulous performances in every age group and in every instrumental group as well. That's very challenging. And for all the viewers and for all the contestants, I also would like to highlight one more very special aspect of our jury members. Every musician and the jury members, you can check their biographies, and I'm sure you do, are accomplished artists in many different facets, as soloists, as, of course, educators. But there's something very special about the jury panel for the Sound Espressivo competition. These musicians are also producers. So what you're hearing, the comments from these musicians are the experience of on stage, preparing musicians for stage, and producing the stage performances, their own and of many musicians, concerts, festivals, and a lot of variety of the events. So you get a perspective from how to perform on stage, how to prepare for stage, and what is expected from a stage performance. So thank you very much, Lydia. We'll be moving on to our next contestant, and this is a double bass player from China joining our broadcast in real time from mainland China, which is technologically an accomplishment on its own already. So welcome on stage, Xiaojun Ma. He is nominated in the Innovative Artistic category.
Xiaojun, that's very nice. Thank you. Most people don't understand that that's not a big cello, and and it's a completely different instrument. I mean, it's so difficult what you did. Uh, I haven't heard a lot of bass players, but I have heard Gary Carr, and you know, he's the guy that kind of started the bass as a solo instrument many years ago. And boy, you really kill it, man. It's good. Your pianist again is wonderful. The Hindemith tends to be a piano concerto with another instrument with it, and she's wonderful. You're wonderful. I'm just really impressed with everything you did. Very, very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I got to double down on what Mike said. The double bass is a whole nother. It's one of my favorite instruments, and as you know, playing it as a solo is a tough act to follow. And Hindemith is also not easy. Yeah, I just congratulations. I loved it a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Not too much.
Thank you.
Yeah, bravo. I mean, I commend you on playing Hindemith and keeping it together. I mean, that's a tremendous feat in itself. Yeah, and you're lucky to have a pianist that can really do that piece justice. There's, I don't know if you're familiar with that joke where there's a picture of all those pianists running in a different direction, and the caption says, "Will you accompany me on the Hindemith?" And they're all running away because we're always afraid to play these things. I was just last week playing the trumpet sonata with someone, and just thinking to myself, why? I mean, but they're great pieces when you get it right, and I felt like you guys got it right. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Xiaojun, congratulations. You played very well, and the ensemble is amazing. So I think you have good power in control of your instrument because it's not easy to play. And one thing you might work on further could be on the balance between your instrument and the piano, because it is actually a very complicated piece of music. If we measure by the number of notes per second, that's a lot. That's a lot. And with such complexity and so powerful and so busy, the sound waves just got mixed all over. So I think if you try to work in close connection with the piano to see how you might want to adjust the balances, who is more important, who wants to be at the background, then I think you may be able to highlight even more in refined detail of Hindemith's work, because there's a lot of interesting tonalities that I think you have the occasion to bring out. But overall, you have a very strong sense of conviction and good sense of musical direction. So keep up the excellent work. And if you look into more refinement of the details, you'll be superb.
Thank you. Thank you.
Zhao Jun, where are you in China?
Nanjing.
Where is near Beijing or
Shanghai. Near
Shanghai?
Ah.
Okay. I went there a couple of years ago, conducting an orchestra. So the first thing that I watched the Hindemith Sonata for. I have another question. Why did you choose this piece?
我能给你翻译吗？您说一下，我让我老师帮我翻译。
I'll translate for him.
Okay, thank you.
选这个曲子的原因是，这个曲子它是一个现代派的奏鸣曲，具有一定的挑战性，也可以训练我的不足点。
I chose this piece because it's a 20th century piece, and I've never played a sort of more of a modern style before. So I did this to challenge myself.
That's a good answer. Means you love the piece and you played it very, very well. I remember one time when I was in my 20s, I went to listen the legendary pianist Sviatoslav Richter in Pistoia, Italy. And he played Mozart, he played Bartok, and then he played a very dissonant piece by Hindemith called Ragtime. And the public, we wanted him to do an encore, and we were hoping that he was not playing that piece, but he played that piece. He played that piece and we hated it. But anyway, I don't want to do now a criticism of Hindemith. I think Hindemith is a great composer. He's like nervous music. And there are all particulars about this music, and you guys killed it. So I don't have any criticism about your playing, but you and the pianist, very clear performance, and it was great to listen to you. Bravi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing Hindemith. It's a controversial music, and it's very courageous to bring it to the competition because it makes all musicians go on edge with their opinions. Now, I have a question for your translator, for your pianist, who is whoever is helping you with translation. Would you like to translate some of the comments right now, just so GaYoung has an opportunity maybe to ask some questions?
Yes, I will.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it. We'll wait.
Okay.
OK， 他们是说你有没有什么问题要问？就是刚才是在讲那个，你就是你评委的那个评语。对啊。针对那个你有没有什么疑问的或者要问的问题
？No。
没有是吧？
He understood all of your comments and he doesn't have any questions.
Oh, wonderful.
That's good. That's good.
But if there is anything you would like to ask the jury members right now while we have the connection, this is incredible that you were able to connect to our studio and perform live from inside the China. So please feel free to ask any question you have or a comment.
Yeah, he doesn't like talking that much, so.
Okay.
We're okay.
Typical musician.
Well, he speaks with his instrument. That's for sure.
Exactly.
He says a lot with his instrument.
It's a big instrument too.
Yeah.
It's a way to tell the difference between a musician and an entertainer.
Yeah. We're the former, yes.
A performer, yeah.
That's right. Well, thank you very much for performing and for being on virtual stage live. I understand it's from Shanghai area, right?
That's right, Nanjing.
Wonderful. I love that city. Been there a few times. So, yeah. Thank you for performing. Thank you for bringing this unusual repertoire and this turning the double bass into the solo instrument for us. That was great. We'll be moving on to the next contestant, and that will be our last performer of this very long opening night. Welcome on stage pianist Esteban Alvarez, who is nominated in the artistic category of virtuosity. The stage is yours.
I believe you can hear me and see me correct. Good. All right. Thank you for waiting and for the long night as well. I want to start with a piece from Latin America, from Mexico. I wrote the arrangement of this piece, and I didn't write the piece, but I wrote the arrangement for this piece for my last album with Mariachi Nuevo Tecalitlan, which is the largest mariachi in the world. And so we did a full album, and this is one of the featured pieces of the album. It's called La Viquina, and this is my own arrangement of it.
Great arrangement. I loved it. I loved it. So this is good. You arrange this for your album?
Yes.
Excellent. And what brought you to arranging this piece?
It's probably one of the most iconic Latin American pieces.
Mhm.
It's a representation of this whole part of the continent. So I thought that was a neat song to arrange and for piano and mariachi.
Mm-hmm.
So the album is called Piano Meets Mariachi. So it's the first album of its kind. It's war music. So this is one of the feature songs. If not the feature song, this is one of the two feature songs of the album.
Excellent. Are you playing another piece?
I can. I don't know.
Sure. Why don't we close off tonight with another piece? I like that idea.
Of course. Is there anything particular that you like, guys? Please don't ask me to play classical music because it's been years since I played Chopin and Rachmaninoff. But let's see. This is another arrangement of mine. You might have heard this too. It's called Manicero, the peanut vendor. But it's quite of an interesting arrangement because of the left hand. It's a little bit off. So it goes something like this.
Yeah, it's fun. I love these pieces. I love the arrangements for them, and it's definitely it's got that. I love the vibe and sort of kind of piano bar like sort of thing that's going on with it, and I think they're going to work well on a CD for sure. I love it. I love it. I think that. So anyway, this is a little bit of like both the composer and me, and the pianist and so forth. That is that you could vary both the dynamics a little bit more. There could be more contrasting pieces to it. I think especially when we're recording stuff for a CD and so forth, we tend to get into that mindset of just is one sort of blast of sound that like we kind of always listen to. Like I think of like Piano Man and like Billy Joel and like piano bar sort of thing, or like when you go there, it's you've got that one volume that like goes through because it carries on and everybody sings to it and like they dance and so forth. With that said, I feel that the pushing variation into it, the dynamics, and just you have a lot of really interesting things that are going on in the arrangements that I think if you brought them out either softer or a different little piano style or whatever, I think it would bring the pieces a lot farther. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think so.
But I love them. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is more of, just, I guess it's just my opinion.
That's good. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Great job. Yeah, I mean, just kind of along the lines of what Robert was saying. I mean, I would love to hear the entire album at some point. But this is totally the kind of music that I would want to hear if I was out, with my friends, and it would be a great evening. It just what he was saying about the dynamic range and contrast in general. I felt like there were a lot of like loud highs and a lot of soft lows, but not a whole range of middles. And especially when you're repeating the same bits and themes over again in different registers. It could just use that. It's just one negative thing about playing on the piano is that we can pretty much play the same volume on every key very easily, where another instrument that's powered by wind or even like bow and strings and all that can't resonate at the volumes that the piano can. So we have to work a little bit harder to achieve that in our own fingers and our own playing. Really nitpicky stuff, but I think that would really make your album very special.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Hi, Esteban. I think I can hear your enjoyment of the music. I see that you are almost like improvising. Maybe you're prepared. Are you partly improvising as well?
Totally improvised.
Yes,
because the second piece was all improvised.
Because I see a lot of good things in your pianistic skills. You have virtuosic technique, and you can move very fast. The next level you can consider, very similar to the other colleagues' comments, I think you can widen the quality of or character of your improvisations. For example, you have a lot of very energetic pieces, and it's always very strong with a very strong pulse. What you could consider is, in your contrast, create something a little bit more lyrical, and maybe a less thick texture. It may be a challenge because I know the rhythm drives the pulse moving on, but sometimes it sounds like you are like at the end of a fireworks show all the time. Everything is like bombastic all over. And sometimes if you create the contrast that's very different, a little bit slower, a thinner texture, more quiet, it allows the listener to have a different experience. Because if it's constantly like that, it may sometimes trigger what I call ear fatigue. After a point when our sensory feelings are oversaturated, we don't hear it anymore. So I think if you try to explore that and create more expression, more soft passages, you can add an extra dimension to your improvisation. And it would be a lot of fun to see the other side of the possibilities. I hope this is helpful for you, because I already see that you have the chops, and a lot of the most difficult aspects are already second nature to you. And it's so much that you are a part of the piano. So now explore the other ranges and see where that can take you. I love your performance. Please keep going.
Yes, Esteban, you have. I have a question. What piano is that? Is that an upright piano? Is it a baby grand piano?
It's a digital piano.
Ah, it's a digital piano.
Yes.
So I think it probably. I think some of the comments are because we are used to listen to acoustic instruments.
Right. Yes.
And by the way, you can. That's still a pianoforte, right? You can still play piano and forte there.
Yeah. It's the sound is rather bright, and that's why it sounds a little too loud.
Yeah. But if you, for example, if you go like with the weight of your hand, it gets softer. Not that much, yeah. It's also the instrument. Do you like to play in acoustic piano?
Yeah, I have a Steinway piano. I'm a Steinway artist, but I just don't happen to have it here in this place right now.
Ah.
I had to use this piano.
I think it probably would have been better to listen you playing on a Steinway. That's for sure.
You're absolutely right, Giacomo. Absolutely right. That's just the limitation of the instrument as well.
Okay, so you are playing jazz, according to me. You are improvising on what's called in jazz a head, and then you do it. So you are a great virtuoso, and I agree with the comments done before. What I suggest to you is to practice some Schumann music, not to play Schumann in concert, but some expressive legato Schumann with different range that would enhance your piano playing. That's what I think. But you are a great pianist in your genre. You don't have any problems.
I have a lot of problems.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, you have a lot of problems if you listen to all of our comments. Then
Don't we all?
He must be a human being.
Yeah. Well, when I was a very young man, I played the peanut bender every night for 2 years with Stan Kenton's band.
Oh,
So
wow.
I know that tune pretty well. We were all talking if you had something that was really a contrast, something like Oblivion or Libertango, or something quiet, so we can hear you play a different way. Do you have a little short version of something like that you could just play us?
Sure. Like a ballad?
Yeah, a ballad. A ballad. Lovely. Nice changes, nice everything. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it. And I have one more little feedback. You actually played soft music very beautifully, and you have that intrinsic artistic feeling, and piano is a part of you. I think when sometimes you choose a repertoire to perform, whether it's for any occasion, consider a contrasting repertoire that can bring out the best in you so that your audience can appreciate the beauty of what you can do from both ends. And it's really amazing and fantastic. I love your slow playing, it's beautiful. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Esteban. I have one question. I have it listed that you're in Texas and Costa Rica. Which one is it?
Right now I'm in Texas.
Right now you're in Texas,
But I
but
am
you're
from Costa Rica.
you were born in Costa Rica.
Born and raised in Costa Rica, yes.
Wonderful. Yeah, you got the blood for this music. And the culture and mom's tongue. Wonderful. Thank you very much for bringing this music on the stage of the Sound Espressivo. Appreciate you stepping in and sharing it with us. Wonderful. Thank you. This concludes our program for this opening night of Sound Espressivo semifinals. And I honestly do not envy the judges. We have the table ready, the virtual table, ready in your judges' lounge with pictures of alcohol. No, just kidding.
Yeah, just pictures. No picture.
Well, you can pretend it's real, and we all can crowd in Giacomo's room. It looks really
Yeah,
inviting.
we'll take care of it at home. Don't worry.
All right, let's do that. But anyway, we're coming to the close of this night. We are, but the judges are not. They'll be moving to the judges' lounge deliberation room, where they will be making their decisions, and the results will be announced on the website. And we'll also announce the names of the finalists at the beginning of our next session, which will be tomorrow. And with this, I would like to thank the judges very much for coming on board this late at night. For for everyone it's different time zone, but it's not early for any one of us. And I want to also thank very much the contestants for preparing, for caring and taking care of their talents, to develop the talents to the point where it can be expressed with such finesse as we heard tonight, and can be presented for the audience's enjoyment, involvement, and understanding of the musical language. This is a language which connects us across the world. We had people joining us from as far as Hong Kong and China today, and including many other places. And I would like to also thank very much the supporters of every artist who performed today, family members, teachers, communities. They say it takes a village to raise a person. Well, it takes more than a village. It takes many villages together, if not many cities together, to raise a musician. So thank you very much for your continued support of all of us as artists, and especially for contestants who performed today. And thank you, audience, for staying with us. I still can see that we still have live viewers. Thank you for being with us in such a long session today. And I hope you enjoyed it. And please send us your comments. Comment on the chat in the platforms, wherever you were watching. We would like to get to know you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, why you were watching this program, and what do you think about it. And now I would like to thank very much a big supporter of the Virtual Concert Halls and Sound Espressivo competition, History of Music channel on Facebook. Thank you for helping us reach farther and wider and include many, many more people in the wonderful circle of music lovers and those who enjoy the musical language in its live form. Everything today you saw was live performances from all over the world, live comments of judges who joined us in real time. And last but not least, I would like to thank the wonderful team of Virtual Concert Halls, amazing producers, directors, sound and video engineers, and broadcast designers. By their magic hands, the sound and picture today were so beautiful. And I can hear some of the judges clapping. Let's give a round of applause to the team. And with this, we'll be saying goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please do your own calculation for your time zone. I'm not going to even attempt that. It's too complicated for me. So tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, session 2 of Sound Espressivo competition, semi-final round. And with that, we all will say thank you. Judges, you can say thank you too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And goodbye.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.